Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Yeah, we got to talk about typhoons again here in the Philippines. We've had like five large storms, some of them typhoons in less than 3 weeks, I believe. And we're going to look at the current one is coming in here. This is on windy.com. And let me jump over quick to Pagasa, which is the Philippine agency that tracks these storms. But first, let me show you a couple charts dealing with Philippines, give you an idea. The people ask me, when is typhoon season? And this is a chart, and the lighter colors are your less your category two. The darker gets category three, four, and five, where they happen along the calendar months. And January, February, March, April, and even May are quite low, and way over here in November, where we're at now, is quite low. So, a very unusual event, and weather is not normal. It is average, and the darker colors are the more intense type storms. This chart shows the tropical cyclone number for the different months over a long period of time. Two different color bars here from 1900 to 1945, and then from 1970 to 2015. And there again, November generally very low. And this is even a very interesting, important chart as well. This shows the number of typhoons each area of the Philippines get. Mindanao in the lower green is Mindanao. They get very few typhoons. Although, you don't need a typhoon to have a major storm and flooding and damages. The next one up is the Visayas area, and even that could be broken down further into eastern Visayas, which take the brunt, central Visayas and western Visayas, but they haven't done that here. And then the upper section, I think, is one of those, the upper two lines is southern Luzon, and then all of Luzon included in that. And this chart shows many of the different tracks and how many go. And the lower right, way over on the right, the lowest one shows that most of them go north of the Philippines. They will affect the Philippines oftentimes. And then how many go through, clip the north end, how many go more westerly through there, gives you an idea of the various tracks as well. Now back to Typhoon Pepito. And this shows you've got your schedule over here from the least, your least to the up to the super typhoon, and this last one that just passed northern Luzon starts out here as a low pressure area, tropical depression, tropical storm, turns into severe tropical storm, and turned into a typhoon. And I don't know if you can see this, but it just clipped the northern end of Luzon Island. Luzon Island is where Manila metropolitan area is, down here in this area, and dumped a lot of rain exactly where the last several storms dumped rain. So landslides, closed roads, evacuations of tens of thousands of people. And this one is headed off towards, looks like Taiwan up here. Now, that is gone, but here's the most current one. In fact, this one was called Nika or Taraji, international name Taraji. What happens, the international community puts a name on it, Taraji, out here. When it crosses this red line, Philippines area of responsibility, Philippines changes the name. In this case, it was Nika. And that is gone. So we are now watching Pepito. This is Pepito down here. And reload this. And I think we'll get the new name here. Yeah, they got the new. Manyi is the international name. Pepito is the Filipino name. And this is it as we're tracking in towards Luzon again. Zoom in here a bit. So you have northern Luzon up here, northern Luzon. You've got, I'm down here in Cebu, Signal 1 down here in Cebu City, and it is cloudy. This it is Saturday on the 16th of November, and it is. I woke up to cloudy skies, cloudy and cooler. So yeah, we're getting alerts even over here in the northern Samar, and there is debate the different models. I'll show you the different models that track this, where it goes, but it is heading northwesterly basically, and it's expected to go further south, and affect more the south, and affect these eastern regions of the Philippines as well. Before I get into more details, just a few pictures from one of the recent storms up north, and the damage that it does to infrastructure, to houses, to the planning that goes in, the logistics of rescuing people, of feeding them, of housing them for many, many weeks, because this has been back-to-back storm, pretty much affecting many of the same areas. And just an enormous task. There are other countries. U.S. is moving in some resources and food, but landslides, even if you're not right in the path, just all the rain, the landslides, lahar, especially lahar, volcanic type mud that comes down out of the mountains, and the Philippines is a very mountainous area, so susceptible to landslides with all this rain. These typhoons, these big storms, come in off the cold Pacific. They hit the warm water of the Philippine Sea, which, gosh, can be right around 80 degrees. And just like in the Gulf of Mexico, when it hits warm water, they can intensify very rapidly. Article I just read said that it may achieve the wind speeds of a super typhoon before it makes landfall. But regardless, typhoon, super typhoon, it's gonna dump a lot of water. It's going to have high winds, doing a lot of damage as it proceeds northward here. So as you think about where you're going to live, I know a number of expats, and a couple of them vloggers over the years, who moved into low-lying areas that flooded regularly, and it's like, maybe you should think about that as you decide where you're going to live. The other thing, if you live in the mountains on the hills, there's the chance that you're going to have landslides and be cut off. All your roads are going to be cut off as well. So that can be another issue. Anyway, jumping over to weather nerds very quickly. This is many different models that they put out, showing different ways that these typhoons can go. But let's jump over to my favorite, windy.com. It's a free site. You can use it all over the world. They have weather conditions all over the world, and just an enormous amount of information. I pay for the premium, I don't know, 20 something a year or forever, I can't remember. But I get longer forecasts, number one. I get additional perks with that. But you can see the outer bands here are definitely affecting some of the cloudiness. Very little breeze here this morning, so we're not going to get direct impact from any of this down here in Cebu. But these eastern islands definitely will. Samar up here. Leyte's going to get a little bit, not the eye of the storm, but they're definitely going to be affected out here. And then as it heads up here towards the southern Luzon island out here. Several storms ago, this Bicol area up here was just inundated with so much rain. Put a lot of communities underwater. Anyway, let's go up here to our menu and hurricane tracker. And we're down here to Manyi. So let's take a look at this, and then we'll even check the tropical storm Sarah up here in the Gulf of Mexico, USA, here after we track this. But yeah, this tracks the storms, and they've got down here JMA, which is Japan Meteorological, and UKM here. Each one has a little bit different track. UKM tracks it a little bit further south. BOM-A, I'm not sure who they are, but I'm not a meteorologist. I've had a couple courses in college many years ago, but and ECMWF here, each one tracks it a little bit differently, but basically it's going to go through central Luzon. Real quickly, let's jump over and watch what they have forecast over here in the Gulf of Mexico. Florida up here, Texas up here, Mexico. The Philippines is getting better at putting in resources ahead of these storms. I've watched that the 9 years I've been here in the Philippines. They are getting better at mobilizing the different agency and setting up food supplies, water, all that type of thing, evacuation areas to evacuate people with. But, the Philippines is a very small island. Land-wise, it's about the size of the state of Arizona in the USA. Italy is a little bit larger in land area. Arizona has 7 million people. The Philippines in the same area, basically, 118 million was some of the last figures that I have seen. 113, 15, 18, I've seen all those figures. That's a lot of people. 17 million versus 115 million people. That's a lot of people. A lot of those people live in risk-prone areas, areas that easily flood, near volcanoes. We've got Canleon volcano spewing out a little bit of stuff over on Negros Island. You have the occasional earthquake, although we are not affected by the earthquakes and the volcanoes like they are down in Indonesia, down south of us. Fortunately, the good news is that the Philippines will, on average, and there's no such thing as normal, but on average, will be affected by right around 20 tropical storms, typhoons throughout the year. Not all of those make landfall. They come into the Philippine area of responsibility. And the good news is that most of the time, all year long, the Philippines is not being affected by the typhoons, but they are affected by too much water or not enough water. 2015, when I came to the Philippines, the rainy season, we were in a drought. 4 years later, 2019 was a drought period. 4 years later, 2024. Prior, several months ago, we were in a pretty much a severe drought period. I think we went several months with almost no rain here in Cebu. And you have issues like your shallow wells, your shallow wells going dry, and the cities had to ship in water tankers in, and people would get up in the middle of the night and go out with their containers, hoping that water truck would show up so they could fill their containers. Sometimes the truck didn't show up, and you have issues like that. So when you're choosing where to live, water reliability. I've got a guy around the corner from me who has a deep well, and he sells, I buy a lot of my water from him. 5 gallons at a shot, 25 pesos, 5 gallons. I can get it delivered, I think, for 40, 45 pesos, something like that from somebody else. But anyway, consider those things. I know many expats, they move to the Philippines. They move wherever they found their girlfriend, whatever province, city, they end up moving into that area. The girl wants to stay close to the family. But at least in that area, consider some of the risks that are involved as well. I've done a little bit of a deeper dive in my membership site about some of the risks in the Philippines. I'll be doing additional things there. I've done deeper dives on real estate and the healthcare system also. So check out my membership site if you would. Anyway, that's it for now. Safe travels. I know several of you have messaged me, emailed me that you are coming in November and December or January. This is our higher season, October, November, December, January, February, or March, where more tourists from the cold climates come here to enjoy the Philippines. Anyway, safe travels, and I will see you next time.